Okay, it is the end of the Renaissance. Beginning of the Industrial Era. We are in a Dark Age. I didn't really plan this Dark Age until quite late. I don't think, I say that I wouldn't have made much of a difference if I wouldn't. I basically got to a point where I couldn't get a normal age, so I was like, alright, we'll save up a few points, but not too many. Strategically, the main thing. So Nubia's in a dark age. Again, we have a cultural. So we have flipped Cahokia. We have a cultural alliance with the Cree, so that we're not getting loyalty pressure on Cahokia. So we can keep the city. It's got a few luxuries. We are currently. I'm not sure if the loyalty is working properly here because Scythia should be flipping current, not Nubia and Greece. I don't understand what's going on sort of under the hood there. And then Adelaide just flipped to Australia. This 10 is from my governor over here. I might actually have to move that governor. So that we want Australia to stay more strong. We're basically trying to contain Nubia in this game. Here we are, science. So 44 techs. So during all the wars that have been declared against Nubia, they were about 5 or 6 techs ahead. But we've basically run around and pillaged everything, and now they're only 2 techs ahead. So I don't think we'll worry about that anymore. Slight problem with, we're like 10 techs behind ourselves. We can't win science, and we can't slow literally every single person down. It made sense when Nubia was ahead to just send everything against Nubia, but now we're going to have to just pretty much straight just outrace the AI. No one has super high tourism, which is fine. Down here, this is the way that we could potentially win the game, and unfortunately we're playing on a huge map, so it is an absolute slog. It is numbing my mind. I'm leaving the Cree and Russia to last, so I'm going to finish converting the Milanese. I'm going to get these 2 cities. I will get Longzi if it doesn't flip. And then firstly, I'll get rid of Confucianism. And there'll probably be a religious emergency against me. And then I will have to go against Russia and deal with Russia. And then after that, we will be looking at... There's a whole nother continent. And I don't know if we're going to beat... We sort of have it. We're basically racing against the science victory. I've forgotten to keep buying missionaries literally every turn. This is so incredibly painful to do. This is why tourism wins are like the most enjoyable, because you don't have to micromanage every single turn. Anyway, tech-wise, I don't really know. We may as well go pick up chemistry. 11 turns. 8 turns. Wow, such a difference. I haven't bothered. We don't need pikes. Haven't bothered with military tactics in tech shuffle, where you have shuffled them being irrelevant. So that's fine. Civics tree, we're going for civil engineering, and then I'm going for all this stuff. Don't really have a strategy, we're just trying to progress. And I think that's everything. And I can't bother talking about the governors. So yeah, we're in a Dark Age. In the mod that I'm playing, so no great person points. Plus 3 of these penalties. We have luxuries only supply 3 cities. I think we need to keep Buenos Aires happy. I was gonna check. Yeah, that'll damage us, but we can sort of survive it. I think, especially if I build some water parks. Cannot create trade routes is going to absolutely cripple us. What is that, like 52 science per turn? More than 52 out of 74.4 science is from, yeah, okay. So we need to be able to maintain these trade routes very badly. We're getting science because in the mod that I'm playing you get +1. So Russia is like 10 techs ahead, so we get 10 science. It's probably the easiest. So Nubia is 12 techs ahead, so we're getting 12 science, sending a trade route to Nubia. We don't need strategic. We're not getting into a war, and military. I mean, we've got heaps of gold, so we're going to choose to maintain trade routes. Cool. And that's the end of the turn. There's not too much to say really. Russia and Germany are at war. Oh, okay. I wonder if Greece is just going to flip and basically die because they're in the middle. We've got a normal age. The Cree have a normal age, and China has a normal age. Because Pergamon's definitely going to flip. And Scythia has a golden age. Like, if they lose Pergamon and Rhodes, I think Greece might be loyalty flipped out of the game here. Which would then surely mean that these cities will eventually flip to Scythia in the next 60 turns. That's what I'm gonna hope for. Russia, what kind of age was Russia in? Russia's also in a dark age, so maybe 0.4 is pretty negligible. Yeah, they've got a lot of population. Don't know what, because the problem is if I let's say I send spies and I start dealing with Russia, right? Actually, Sophia's not. Yeah, 122 science per turn though. It's only 3 techs, but it's almost double the science per turn. If we give like Scythia all of these cities, if we send our spies and we get rid of all the loyalty, the problem is going to be that Scythia will then win the game. So we sort of need to advantage the weaker civilizations where possible. Anyway, I'm gonna keep playing, and yeah, thanks. We will check in at either the end of the game or the end of the Industrial Era, beginning of the Renaissance. I mean, beginning of the or not traveling backwards in time, the Modern Era. We are about halfway through the Industrial Era, and it is the time of Rosa Luxemburg. Rosa was born into a Polish Eastern Orthodox. So you can see there on the screen just the one follower of Eastern Orthodoxy in the capital Krakow. Rosa Luxemburg was born into a Polish Orthodox family, which would cause her to face a lot of prejudice throughout her life. Despite her birth, she was an exceptionally gifted child who was selected to be educated at one of the elite maturas, or schools, in Krakow. And there, while studying in Krakow, she managed to network with other socialists, got involved in socialist ideas, and that kind of thing. While at school, she actually led the school Marxism group, a position that would eventually morph into her leading the Polish Communist Party. So her views on government were slightly different to the typical communist. She still believed very much in free speech and just generally the freedom of the people. Her brand of communism was more like the state runs the economy, but other than that will stay out of people's lives. So eventually, after quite a lot of tensions between the sort of like the haves and the have-not of Polish society, even though it was heavily homogenized at this point, she managed to use, well, one of the other party leaders launched a coup. This coup was successful in the sense that it overthrew the government, but unsuccessful in gathering wide-scale support. So as a result, the original coup leader was himself also assassinated. However, Rosa managed to gain the trust of the public, and was obviously already a senior member of the party. So as a result, she established a new Polish constitution before she herself was also assassinated. However, once again, the government that she established became the government of Poland, of Greater Poland, and therefore she is generally viewed with much reverence particularly those who lean to the left politically. Anyway, that is pretty much the story of Rosa Luxemburg in this universe.